I don't listen to much Taylor Swift, and I'm just going to tell you right now, Tim, the Swifties are coming, my friend. They're on their way. It's like a Wyatt Earp in Tombstone, right? You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. You hear? that's what's about to go down. What did you think of that? You had to be proud of your QB1, right?
Oh man, I thought it was fake at first when I first heard it until I actually saw it, and it was. We got the clip, right? Yeah. Give me the clip. Come on, I got to see the clip.
Let's see where it's at here. We actually got this saved as a video drop too, guys. So you might just randomly hear this from time to time.
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
Bro, we're
just like me on yesterday's podcast, right?
Yeah, really, no doubt. I can't name one song, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think. I mean, I remember when she burst on the scene as a country singer, and it was like, hey man, she had a good voice. This is cool. You know, young girl chasing her dream. Next thing you know, she's on the pop charts. I'm going, what happened? I thought she was country. Funny how that happened. But anyway, yeah, let's see. We got Doug in here now.
I got in common with Jordan Love. That's awesome. I'm going to take him out for a daddy soda one of these days.
Man, I'm telling you, he just keeps winning us over. This dude, all he does is, as they say in the streets, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Ain't that what they say, Tim? Did I say that right?
Oh, man, right on the money. Yeah, dude, I love it, man. J Money, another reason to love Jordan Love. But, you know, I'm not going to throw too much shade at Taylor Swift. You know, I just don't get the obsession with her. I'm not going to hate on her. She's clearly talented, clearly highly successful, you know, for a reason. So it's not a knock on Taylor Swift. I just, you know, I don't get it. You know, I'm with J Money. I don't listen to too much Taylor Swift.
I love it, man. Absolutely love it. Let's see. We got Brent X in here. I'm not sure what this comment means, Brent. He says, looking healthier and healthier, ready to go on a run. Oh, talking about the team. All right, got you. I'm always so self-conscious. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? What do you mean I'm looking healthier? Well, I'm looking fatter? Is that what you're saying? Putting a little extra weight over here? Bleed Green says, good evening, Posse. Ready to talk some pack? Absolutely, man. Josh Martin coming in here scolding me, saying you're early today. Hey, Chris in the chat. Early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. You know what I'm saying, Chris in? So look at this. Talk about early bird. Look who's in the house right here, my man. Emilio, I need to know, Emilio. First of all, let's give him the proper intro here. One. Where's it at? Where we got it?
Oh, there it is.
Way down. Emilio, my question for you, sir. How many Taylor Swift albums do you have on hand right now? Don't you lie to me. You're muted, man. Taylor Swift would be so upset right now. You're actually not muted. You just don't get the mic hooked up. Look, hey, we'll ad lib for you. I love Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift is great.
Yeah, for target practice or for just to have her on the house?
Target practice. Man, you're going to get the Swifties after us. You ain't careful, big dog.
Hey, Clayton, I'm watching my followers disappear on Twitter right now.
Yeah. Tim's just followed by Swifties. That's all he's got.
I actually put a tweet out just a second ago, and I'm expecting to get so much hate, and that was the purpose, to be honest with you. Let's see what happens here. Let me share the screen here. I want you guys to see this. Hopefully, I can get it muted before it shows because it's going to be loud. But I tweeted this one out just a second ago. Let me make sure it's muted here. All right, y'all ready?
Let's hear it.
Look what it says. Get the quote in the back. Live looking on the Swifties.
Oh man.
Yeah, for all you on the pod, you got to come look at the picture.
It's basically, if you guys are, I'm a big Shining fan. I love that movie, man. Just a classic, right? That's, to me, that's how you make a scary movie, right? Put a little thought into it, not just gore and guts and a bunch of bad language. Just a really good movie. But yeah, so it's essentially Jack Torrance, right, from The Shining, got that look in his eye. And I said, live looking on the Swifties here. I tell you, Emilio, it's going to get rough, man. Go get rough out here in these Twitter streets if y'all ain't careful with these Swifties. They don't play games, bro.
Yeah, no, they really don't. And I'm wondering if she's going to be at the game, you know, so it is.
Yeah. If she's at the game, she's going to be up in the booth, right? There ain't no way she's coming down in the bowl, is she, Tim?
I don't know. Maybe the more we keep talking trash, maybe she will. You know, I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to bring her in kind of a backdoor side entrance kind of deal, loading dock, you know, drive right in there kind of deal.
Right. Bulletproof golf cart all the way up to the front door.
Oh, man.
I put her out there shoveling snow if we get some snow coming in. You know,
there you
put her
go.
to work, bro. Make her earn that ticket. You know Nah, hey, on a serious note, though, that girl is so successful, bro.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
They said she's a billionaire, right? Am I understanding that correctly? She's now a billionaire? Did I hear that right?
I think so. I thought I saw a time lapse of like the way she just jumped from like, thousands to millions to hundreds of millions, like throughout her age. So,
yeah. And, I bet what you have with Travis Kelce, man. He's like, man, my knees are starting to hurt, dude. I'm getting old.
yeah.
Let me go find me a sugar mama. You know what I'm saying? Somebody will take care of me as I get older here. Carson Caldwell in the chat said he might not listen to Taylor, but Taylor will listen to a lot of people saying Jordan's name after that domination that'll happen on Sunday night. I like the way you're thinking there, Carson. Yeah. And then Josh Martin, of course, jumping in. We got Boz in the chat. We got everybody in here, man. What's up, guys? Josh Martin says Clayton upsetting teens and 30s single. You're going to get me in trouble with the ladies tonight, dude. You better watch it, Josh.
Yeah, man, he's watching.
No doubt. Let's see. I like this too. Deadfish said that Jack Torrance look. That's the Gray looking at Mahomes look. Maybe Gary looking at Mahomes looks what he means there for sure. Yeah. Man.
Have you seen some of the behind the scenes from that movie, from The Shining?
God, man. They put what was the lady's name, Tim? I can't remember the actress.
Who played his wife? Yeah, I can't remember her name.
They put her through so much hell, man. Like, tell them about it, man. What did you get from the behind the scenes?
Jack Nicholson just locking in, dude. Like, I don't know. Like
in the background, getting
like never really leaving character. By the way, this is now a film review podcast. We're doing horror classics. No, he just locked in. It's funny because you say Rashawn Gary, because that's what I think of with him. Like, dude is just on all the time. Like, the minute he steps out of his vehicle, pulls in his parking spot, opens the door, it's like he's on. I'm sure he's probably chill and super easy going at home on his downtime, but when it's time to suit up, man, he's ready to roll. So it's almost like, it's funny. I know we call him Bane Gary. That's his little nickname, but I mean, maybe it should be Jack Torrance, Sean Gary. Because Jack Nicholson was phenomenal in that movie. It's like sometimes you wonder if the guy was really acting. I always joke like that's
No, he's got a little of that in him, doesn't he? No doubt about it. What I thought you were going to refer to is the lady who played the wife. They said that intentionally Stanley Kubrick and the rest of the staff mistreated her on purpose because they wanted her to feel isolated on the set.
Right.
So like she was isolated at that hotel, and it's like it took a toll on her. It sounded like she broke down a couple of times. So Hollywood can be I'm not a big Hollywood fan. I'll just leave it at that, man. It can be a little sketchy out there sometimes. But anyway, so Sushi Bagel in the chat said they may have Taylor, but we've got Simone Biles.
Took it I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
I'm saying all I want to say is Simone better get some FaceTime this weekend if that's the case.
We like champions here in Titletown, right? We'll take
someone
Simone
that can bring
the gold medals. We'll take those over the platinum records all day, right?
Let's go, Tim.
Yeah, and we're all talking crap here, but we know what's going to happen pregame if she shows up. There's going to be a picture of Simone Biles with Taylor Swift, and they're all going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. AJ Dillon's wife will be with them and all that. We're over here trying to create a turf war, and it ain't gonna happen. I'm just saying. But we can always hope, right? Nick the Realtor says Mahomes is gonna fumble. Motto is what it was, wasn't it? May also cough it up. If you guys haven't seen that, is it a State Farm commercial? Am I thinking right? Yeah, State Farm.
Yeah, once Rodgers backed out of the State Farm, man, Pat Mahomes just ate it up.
Yeah, and you got Mr. Pfizer slid right in, didn't
he? Yeah, all right.
I love that nickname too, by the way, Mr. Pfizer. All right, Carson Caldwell said, I'm predicting 2 picks this week. Maybe Savage gets one in his return. Eye emoji. Hey, we'll welcome it, man. We've been very critical of Savage's play in the past, but I'm willing to bury the hatchet if he comes out and balls out after, nursing this injury back. I have a hard time believing he's going to be in great football shape, though, Tim. That's a long time to sit and not play ball, man, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, but, he's a veteran. He's experienced. He is a leader off the field as well and in that locker room. I like to think that he's probably ready to go. But, it's been a while. So there'll be probably some early game rust. And, hopefully a lot of these guys coming back, in general are just, able to make it through. Like I said, we got out of Detroit relatively unscathed. Hopefully that trend continues. We can keep getting healthier here as we try and storm our way into the playoffs,
Yeah, for sure. Deadfish.
Shelley Duvall. There you go. Deadfish. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, for sure.
My head hurt. It was like I held in to sneeze. I had to know.
Right. Doug in the chat says Savage better this year when healthy. To me, it kind of feels like he plays better in the slot from what we've seen last year. Although he got benched at the safety position last year, they put him in the slot. Then he got benched in the slot position there at the end of the season. So hopefully he can put it together, man. At least we'll be a little bit deeper, right? I think we would all agree with that. Savage is not in my opinion, he's not played up the first round standards, but I think we would all agree he would be a very good backup in the league, a solid backup, at least with all that experience. Omer in the chat says, Mahomes will throw INTs. You make him one-dimensional with no run game and intense heat like they put on him on the Lions last week. They do that, they'll get INTs. Just make sure Kelsey stays covered at all times. It's going to be hard to cover Kelsey, Omer, man. I like that game plan you're putting together, though, buddy. I really, really do. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about the injuries real quick. We got a bunch of news that dropped earlier today. Obviously, the Jordan Love, Taylor Swift feud is most important. Actually, we had a couple signings here on the practice squad. Paul Brettel reported this on Twitter. Packers make the signings of James Robinson and Bo Melton to the practice squad official. So just wanted to hit you guys with that. Say all that's been signed into place. So you've got James Robinson on the practice squad at the halfback position. And of course, Bo Melton, been with the team for a while now. He's going to be on the practice squad as a receiver as well. So is there anything that says there, Emilio? Does anything under the surface you think, man, as far as, okay, you signed James Robinson to the practice squad, you put Bo Melton there. Obviously, you got some injuries at those positions we'll talk about in a second. Do you think there's anything else to read deeper into there, or is that just a couple guys added to the practice squad?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking it's just a couple guys, shuffling around. I'm hoping it's, Wicks is better. Wicks is feeling better, and maybe we can get him, a little bit more time out there with Heath and all that. So, I mean, if they're going down, that's a good thing, I would assume, for the roster as a 53. They got more skilled, better players on the 53 than on that practice squad right now.
Definitely. Rob Demoski tweeted out, the Packers short on skill guys again, running backs Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, plus wide receiver Jaden Reed, who, if I understood correctly, had a chest injury, inside with the rehab group. So did Jaire Alexander go inside. And then, of course, he mentions James Robinson and Bo Melton as well. Let me ask you guys, he said melon. It's actually Melton, okay? He's not gelling like a melon. You know what I mean? Tim, Jaden Reed last week, wasn't he on the injury report? Am I remembering right, man?
He popped on for, I think it was a day or two. And
was
again,
that a injury
those were like the fake practice, like the walk-through practice. But he had chest, I believe it was the same thing, a chest injury. Now, I don't know if it helped when he caught that absolute laser beam from Jordan on Thanksgiving. That might not have helped the chest very much.
That'd be the chest injury.
Right.
There it is.
But, he's, it's something we don't talk about a lot, too, is Jaden Reed's toughness. That's another attribute you can add to his game. He's clearly dealing with something. That could be some kind of muscular thing. I don't have big pectoral muscles, so I don't even know what those muscles look like. But there's a lot going on there. Who knows? And he's a receiver, right? So you're moving, and
right.
You could strain something. So, but I think just to kind of bounce back to the practice squad moves here, I kind of saw this coming, especially with Bo Melton. And James Robinson was kind of a surprise because I thought maybe Aaron Jones was on the fast track, and it doesn't look that way, but we see progress with him. I'm wondering if we're going to see even more shakeups as far as a release and then a re-sign to the practice squad, or guys moving up and down the depth chart. If, Stokes and Savage do in fact come back to the active roster, are we going to see another shuffle here after this weekend's game? So just something to think about. But hopefully Jaden Reed is nothing serious. You can see a lot of guys on our team right now are they've got injuries that they're just kind of taking through this year. You got Quay Walker with the groin issue. Jaire's had this shoulder issue now. Don't even get me started on the stuff Devondre Campbell's dealing with. Take your pick, So Jaden Reed, he's got something going on in the chest. Hopefully he doesn't have a cracked rib or something. Those are things like you can't really do much for a broken rib, man, other than like rest.
Yeah.
And some Tylenol 3, So hopefully he's all right,
Hey, one thing about it, boys.
His receiving it's tough.
No doubt about it. Let's see here. Cheesehead Murph dropped in to say hi, Tim. He said, "Go Pack, go Posse. Made it. Taylor Swift just told me to tell Tim I'm in the bleachers."
Murph is the man. I love it.
I wonder if these people actually know the lyrics. I wonder if Murph and these guys actually know the lyrics, or if they're Googling just random lyrics so they can interject it. It was out of control earlier today, Emilio, on Good Morning Lambeau, bro. Tim had a vein bulging right here, bro. He was
I gotta go back and watch it. I was putting in a patio today. I completely missed it.
Oh man,
you're wasting your time out there trying to make a buck. We're in here talking ball. You know what I mean? You got to get your priorities straight, bro. It is what it is. Let's see here. Jennifer Wright in the comments says Savage, Owens, Ford, the hardest hitters in the secondary.
There we go, Jennifer. Get us back on football right away.
Please.
I love it.
Yeah, I love a good hit.
Right back to the business. Let's go.
Yeah, I liked what Anthony Johnson Jr. did too, because he had a couple good pops there, Tim. Like that one we seen that I was like, don't get flagged right now, but obviously a legal hit. You put a couple of those on tape.
Yeah,
those receivers start to see that. Like, okay, when I go across the middle and Savage is in number 36 is playing free safety, or he's playing that quarter on my side. Let's tuck them ribs in a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or you sometimes you're bracing for contact a little too early, and then you're not even making the catch.
Yeah, right. I mean, who remembers
an intimidation factor in your head? Not to say that our rookie safety is Mr. Intimidating yet, but like you said, it's on film, and these offenses are going to have to account for that. And then like you said, Savage can be a savage when he wants to be, right? He can get in there and ruin somebody's day, and J.O.'s a hard hitter too. So it'll be interesting to see how the back end of the defense kind of looks as we progress towards the end of the year with guys coming back. But go ahead, Emilio. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying. You remember when Palomalu was at safety and who didn't want to come across the middle?
Yep.
It changes a couple routes. You're not going to run your dig as hard. You're not going to run your slant as hard. You're not going to. You when you run that flag route, it's am I about to get laid out because you as a receiver, 80% of the time you're probably opening up your chest, and having to put two hands on that ball.
Yep. And
that opens up a nice window. Trust me, that's what I look for. I showed you. You've seen it. We like to lay the lumber.
Hey, we need to show that one day. I need to get you to send those back over to me, and we'll get those on the show. Yeah, we got video footage of our boy over here, Emilio, laying people out on the what is it? Is it lacrosse? Is that
it's lacrosse.
Is there a difference between field hockey and lacrosse? You're going to get so mad at me asking.
No, definitely. Field hockey's played on the ground on grass. Lacrosse is basically played in the air, kind of like soccer-ish, but you're playing with sticks and throwing it around. But
got it.
Same idea.
Good deal, man. That's something I would never have the stamina to play. There's no doubt about that. I was a baseball player. I wasn't an athlete.
Yeah.
Okay, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah. What was the choice, gum or seeds, Clayton?
Oh, for me, during the game, probably gum. Honestly, though, I had a hard time breathing. I was one of those guys that I remember one time I legged out a triple and about passed out because I held my breath the whole way around the field. Like I was real bad about holding my breath when I was playing. So when I chew gum, it was just like, nah, I'm a dumb hick, man. I can't chew gum and run the bases too, right? Never was a big seed guy because they make me thirsty. Obviously, I love them now when I'm not playing sports. So yeah, for me, it was mainly just water, dude. Just water. Yeah. Pissed off the entire time I played. I was not a guy that you wanted to play against. Not that I was so good, but man, I'm telling you, I just had a temper. It was bad. Yeah. It's embarrassing is what it is, but hey, it is what it is. This is what you got. Omer in the chat says Owens or Johnson Jr. deserve to play much more than Savage. We're 3-0 when they started. Omer, I thought the same thing earlier. And Tim, what do you think about that? Man, I'm gonna get your take too, Emilio. Are you guys a little nervous? Like, what if Savage is healthy? You pop him in there, all of a sudden we go back to making all these mental mistakes that have really been minimized the last few weeks, man. Are you concerned with that, Tim?
A little.
Yeah, that's a yes. That's definitely a yes.
Yeah, it's a yes, but I'm also a little more confident in our coach and our staff right now to make an adjustment if something's not right. It seemed like earlier in the year we were just kind of sticking guys out there and just, we wanted to see what was going on too, early in the season with this kind of new team, new look. You want to see who's gelling and what the right mixture of players and personnel is on the field. But I really think that, yeah, I agree. Ant Johnson and J.O. deserve to play, but we all know about the money. And I just wonder how much of that does carry over and influence into the actual game planning. Like, is there actual pressure coming from, the higher ups or from general management onto the coaching staff to play a guy because of a contract? I mean, I can understand it too, right? It's like, at your job, if you get a big fat raise, and you hurt yourself on the job and then you were off for a while and came back, people would expect you to work, right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to put the new guy out there that you're still training. So I don't know. I think if we're going strictly off of performance though this year, absolutely. Those would be my two. You already know I'm an Anthony Johnson Jr. fan. So
oh yeah, same man.
All I want to say to that is if that is the case, if we were putting Savage out there and he's not performing, the change better happen second quarter, and it better be like, Yash and Walker, or, put, Ryan Runyon sort of thing. We need to be able to pull the trigger on that during mid game for sure.
Yeah. Don't be so scared to go to the hot hand, especially if things aren't working out. Right. I mean, like you gotta be willing to admit, okay, this isn't working right now. Don't wait till the fourth quarter, then make the pull. Right.
Right.
I mean, you're gonna, again, man, I'm of the opinion if Savage is healthy, let him be a rotational guy, let him play special teams. Let's keep doing what we're doing right now. And then if we come out and we get boat raced by the Chiefs, which we would all agree that's a possibility, then maybe, okay, let's put Savage in there, see if we can trigger a little spark, right? But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Josh Martin with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate you. Getting 3 to 4 yards on first down is key. Keeps the play action believable and keeps them back from pinning their ears back and teeing off on Love. I completely agree with that. Even if you're just averaging 2 to 3 yards a carry, they've got to think that you're willing to do it, especially the stretch, especially the outside zone, right? Those are the home run hitters. You got to be willing to show that and get them to pull up on that play action. Because if they start sitting back and they don't bite the play action, that can make for a long day. There's no doubt about it, Josh. I completely agree with that, man, for sure. And again, thank you so much for the super chat. Carson Caldwell says in the chat, I just hope health doesn't hit us right at the playoffs like it did in 2021. I'd rather have a few games before to get in a rhythm. If not, then I say don't bother throwing guys out there, in my opinion. I think that's a fair statement for sure. Let's see. Doug in the chat says, I think Jaire has gone from neck to back to shoulder. No bueno. That's just wild, Tim. I mean, he's not doing anything on purpose. Please don't take me the wrong way, but man, you throw the checkbook at him, right? You break the bank, you make him the highest paid corner in the game when he signed his contract. And it just seems like since then he's not reached that elite status again, at least according to PFF. I've showed you guys mistakes last year and this year on Chalk Talk where he's, being too aggressive, biting underneath. That's another one that worries me, guys. Like the defense has played pretty solid without Jaire. And all of a sudden, now, granted, the game he did play in between this injury stint, he played solid, didn't he, Tim? That was probably his best game in a while,
it was
right?
Probably the best game he had this year, yeah. And, with Ja, it's probably just a little bit of out of rhythm kind of thing. And then you're under all this pressure, too, because, it's like he knows what people are thinking, right? Like, whether he's watching us right now or not, he's he knows what the vibe is. And, he got the bag, and now he's hurt, and when he is on the field, he's not doing much. So he's feeling that pressure. Like you said, we've seen over pursuit. We've seen him, leaving his quarter and jumping a route, those kind of things, which can be great, but can also kill you out there. So, I think he hasn't been able to consistently stay on the field, and that's going to mess anybody's game up. And so will the injuries, go out there and do what you need to do. And now do it with the neck and the shoulder and the back. So I just, all you can do is really say a prayer for your guy, right? You pray for these guys that are dealing with lots of issues, nagging injuries that, like I said earlier, they're just carrying around with them throughout the year. And, hope they can get through it. But, the great ones do, right? They rise above the adversity. Are you hurt or are you injured? We've had that conversation already.
Right.
And at some point, if you got the pads on and you're active and you're out there and your number's called, man, you got to go out and execute. And if you're not, regardless of what the checkbook says, I think we got to, give ourselves a chance to win. And it goes by putting the best personnel you have on the field when they're available. So I guess time will tell. We'll see how this lineup looks on Sunday for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know how it is too. I mean, it could go, 3/4 of that list on the injury list, which we'll hit on here in just a second. They could be inactive, and we might only have a quarter of them inactive, right? You just never know. Right. Omer in the chat said, I know I've played it like hockey. You get whacked with them sticks too much.
That's what she said.
Go ahead, Milio. You get something?
No, I'm just saying that is the truth. So I played short stick most of my life, and then I went to deep hole.
That's what she said.
You're gonna wear that one out, man.
and so it's a 6-foot pole, right? That you basically just get.
That's what she said.
Keep going. Keep going.
I don't even know how I can explain it where another one's not coming.
Clayton is literally Michael Scott at corporate.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I just watched that episode last night too. I'm the king of forwards. What can I say? Basically, I don't even know how I can explain it. Yeah, you can hit them with the 6-foot metal object, and you don't get in trouble for it. Really, you'll get a flag here or there, but I'll take that. You get to release anger. That's fine.
Yeah,
but no, we'll have to pull up them videos again.
Yeah, for sure. We got to show those. There's no doubt about that, man. Let's see here. So Paul Brettel tweeted this out on Darnell. So let me get Omer's comment off of here. I ain't gonna be able to take myself serious here.
Was that 4 of them in a row?
Yeah. So Paul Brettel said, LaFleur said Monday the hope was to get Savage back this week. He was a full participant at today's practice, guys. I mean, that full participant, he's going to be playing Sunday. He's going to be active, right? There's no doubt. I mean, so it's definitely worth mentioning those few details there for sure. Here's the full injury report. I'm going to try to rattle through it real quick. Let me turn my camera off so I can step up here and see it real close. So if I sound like I'm up in the mock, it's because I am. Okay. Jaire Alexander, shoulder injury, limited. Devondre Campbell, neck injury, limited. Kenny Clark, shoulder, limited. Josiah DeGuara, hip, limited. A.J. Dillon, groin, did not participate. That one's a little bit concerning. Rudy Ford, bicep, limited. Rashawn Gary, shoulder, limited. Aaron Jones, knee, did not participate. I think we would all agree he's probably not going to be playing this Sunday. Keisean Nixon, wrist, he was full participation. Jaden Reed, chest injury, did not participate. The fact that he carried that chest injury into last week, I feel comfortable saying he'll probably be a go. Robert Rochelle, calf injury, limited participation. Darnell Savage, calf, full participation. Eric Stokes, hamstring, limited. Dontavian Wicks, knee, limited. And then, of course, Devontae Wyatt, heel, he was a full participation. Must have stepped on a Lego or something. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs side, the one that sticks out to me is Jerick McKinnon. I know you talked about this a little bit, Tim, if I remember correctly. I mean, we talked about how effective he's been in the passing game, right? I think he's got the highest QB rating when targeted. Essentially, they call it receiver rating, but it's the passer rating when they target that specific player, whether it's a wide receiver, tight end, or running back. The fact that Jerick McKinnon is still not participating in practice, I feel really comfortable saying he's probably not going to play this week. Tim, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting late in the week. You're not seeing participation. That's what it looks like. But again, we've seen late additions and we've seen late scratches too. So, but I don't know. It's certainly trending that way. We'll see what tomorrow and Friday looks like as we kind of check throughout the week here as this updates going into Sunday night. Obviously, once again, we have the longer list on the injury report than our opponent does. And I mean, it looks like everybody else on there is going to play, right?
Right.
I mean, limited or full participation for Kansas City. So
they have like 1.5 injured people. I don't even know why they have that list so full.
It's like this every week too. Like we look at our injury list compared to the other team, and it's like That's why people get frustrated. Like, should we start looking at the training staff? Now, the gatekeepers will say, how dare you? How dare you even mention that? But I don't know.
Carson Caldwell has a great comment here. He says, I assume Dylan and Reed are precautionary, bet that they both play. That could be very true, and that would speak to our training staff, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, hold these guys out. Not today. It is what it is. Hopefully you see these things progress as we get closer to game day. I don't know. I'm really keeping an eye on Stokes. He's seeing him limited, and then you look at Darnell. Darnell Savage is, full participant, so Savage is going to go probably, unless he has a setback, knock on wood, hopefully not. He has a setback, or maybe hopefully so, depending on how you feel about Darnell Savage. But, there's a lot of practice left before Sunday, but I'd like to really see what's going to happen with Stokes, because if Ja's out, we need to look at, who's available, because Val and Bal have been playing well. But how much and how long? These guys are rookies, and there's, a big learning curve in this league, and you're grinding towards the end of a season right now. I just feel like we need all hands on deck. And, when you look at guys like AJ Dillon showing up with a groin and Jaden Reed with a chest issue, it kind of like scares the heck out of you when you look at the value those guys bring to our team. But seeing them not participate on Wednesday is way less concerning than seeing that, say, Thursday or Friday, so we'll see how the week goes. Hopefully the status changes for those guys, as we move forward.
Yeah, definitely. Carson in the chat said LaFleur is 15-0 in December. I know Omer's been pointing this out a lot too. We should just put all of our backups in to rest our starters, since December games are auto wins anyway, right? That's how it works. Yeah, it's I tell you, man, Matt LaFleur, for all of the criticism that everyone has given him for starting slow every year, he seems to hit his stride in November and December. There's no doubt. December especially. I mean, obviously undefeated 15-0. That's a heck of a feat. I don't know if I can think of another coach that's come through Green Bay that's actually been able to do that. Cheesehead Murph in the chat says, nothing much, literally just clocked out and having moved out the parking lot. PTA is on. Love it, dude. So evidently Murph getting that work day in and clocking out and catching us. We appreciate you swinging through, buddy, for sure. It's a lot bigger crowd than I expected tonight, with us going earlier than we normally do. So really appreciate y'all dropping by. If you would hit that like button for us, help other Packer fans find this content. Doug in the chat said, how do you think this team plays in the snow? What do they run and how do they execute? How does the game go down in snow? The big thing that people have a misconception of, and I learned this from Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, watching, just documentaries, behind the scenes NFL film stuff on them. When you think of the snow, Emilio, I'll start with you and we'll go to you, Tim, get your take. Immediately you think, okay, you got to run the ball. They looked at it totally different. Tom Brady would say, oh, they'll never rush in this. I remember there's a soundbite from NFL film saying they'll never pass rush in this. He said the SHIT word, right? And also the receivers know what route they're running, right? The DBs don't. So the DBs have to react. So it actually benefits the passing game probably more than the running game. It's just, is there wind? Is that going to be a factor? I don't think they're expecting too much wind. It sounds like the chances of snow has dropped. I could be wrong. Maybe Tim can give us an update on that here in a second. But that's kind of how I see it, not based off my personal experience, but just what I've heard other people like Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, other people who played in the snow talked about. Another one too, Lynn Dickey. There's the History of the Green Bay Packers DVD set I always talk about that literally made me a Packer fan. The part where they kind of cover the 80s, they talked about how good Lynn Dickey was and how he had a strong arm. And there was a blizzard game. I think they played the Buccaneers, I believe it was. Steve Young came up and played. Yeah, so this is when Steve Young was still with the Buccaneers before he got traded to San Fran. And it was a blizzard conditions. We need to find that and watch it on YouTube sometime. But basically, Lynn Dickey said, they asked him and said, what do you think? Can you he said, I can spin this thing good out here today, talking about throwing in the snow. So I think that's kind of a big misconception there. What do you think, Emilio? Do you think it hinders the passing game? Do you think we're going to lean on the run? I think we've talked about before, AJ Dillon kind of being that 4-wheel drive back, right?
Right. And I think he's got that 4-wheel drive, and I'm totally fine with running the ball, but I definitely think we should spin it because, like I said, and you just said, they know where they're going. If you want a little insight, go watch that college game that happened last weekend, and you'll see it was like nobody even expected it to be that high scoring of a game, and it probably wouldn't have been that high scoring of a game if there wasn't snow on the ground, because everyone was sliding. Dude ran basically like a bubble screen or like a T swing and did one little hop, like jumped up in the air and did one hop step and froze 3 defenders and took it like 50 yards to the end zone. So, I mean, it just takes one misstep and you're 3 feet, past where you should have been at that point in snow. So I like that idea. And I think that the speed will still kind of be evident. I think Christian Watson can still dust people. I think he's still going to have that top end speed. And I think that really the biggest thing is, we're always going to go sleeveless for our wide receivers. I guess that's the rule. And we keep passing that down. So as long as they use their hands to catch that ball, and as long as it's not too cold, it's all right. I would say it'd be more of a problem if it was like slushy snow. And then that's more of a slip and slide kind of issue.
Yeah. What do you think, Tim? How do you think this game's going to go down in the snow if it does snow?
I'm thinking that we just stick to our normal game plan. Like you said, Jordan Love's got the hand ability to keep his hand on that ball. And like Emilio just said, cold will affect a player more, I believe, than just elements. Oh, yeah. Same thing with wind, and I did check the weather. It's Sunday is looking like 48% chance of snow. So, 50-50 chance roughly that we get some snow. But I think it affects the kicking game, really, not more than anything, but it's going to affect our kicking game a lot. And you got to think with the struggles that Anders has had lately, that if we get in the end zone here and it's slippery and slick out there and wet and, maybe we go for 2 on some of these,
right.
Or maybe
that's
some of those
point.
4th and shorts, we're not sending them out for the kick, even if it is inside 50 yards or whatever, because there's just too many variables. But I know the staff's been doing a good job over at Lambeau. They're getting that field ready, keeping it prepped every day. So they're going to have the best surface they can to play on Sunday night. But, we'll see what happens in the elements. I'm a fan of, if we have to change our game plan, then we can adjust as we go. But I would rather go out, firing rather than being intimidated by the elements. I think we'll be just fine running our offense out there.
Yeah, no, you make a great point too about the kicker, right? That's one effect it could have on the game. Now, Carlson's got a big leg. We've all heard about that. We've talked about that. We're trying to find his range down the snow. Obviously, that decreases significantly, which still blows my mind. Thinking of Adam Vinatieri in that game for the Patriots against the Raiders and how he kicked those 2 field goals with the game on the line, 4th quarter, then overtime in a blizzard. It's just like, God, it's so remarkable. Probably the greatest kicker in the history of the game, man.
No, and that's exactly to Tim's point. Imagine, what's Keisean going to do on a short kickoff, with that sort of, and you're still swinging through the snow. But it would have to be, I feel like it would have to be a buildup of snow to get kind of that sort of thing, unless it's coming down in sheets, because, we have the heated field and all that. They're not going to let it turn into just a snow pit unless it's coming down.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it, man. Carson here in the chat said, man, it'd be huge to get Stokes back for a playoff push, assuming he's fully healthy. People forget how great he was his rookie year. His rookie year, he was solid. He graded out in the 60s, which we kind of use as that parameter, right? You typically, if a rookie grades out in the 60s, according to PFF, it's a pretty good indicator they're going to be a good pro, right? Took a step back his second year, but got injured fairly early. So, I mean, it wasn't a quote-unquote small sample size, but you didn't really get to see him put together a full sophomore campaign. So it would be cool to see him come back and be a game changer, man. Especially when you use a first-round pick on somebody like that. You obviously want him to pan out. Andy Monday in the chat said, would be nice to see some end arounds and quarterback runs against an aggressive Spagnuolo defense. I completely agree. I like the end around personally out of from under center. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I think when you're in shotgun and the motion happens, I don't know. To me, it feels like they're not so much worried about you running downhill with the running back, out of the gun. But when they're really focused on that, like, okay, this big, 240-pound battering ram is going to get a head of steam before I have to hit him here in these cold elements. You're thinking of that, and now here comes the jet sweep, the F motion, whatever, right? That's something I think that plays a role into it. So I think you got a good point there, Andy. as far as the quarterback runs, if you're referring to the read option, I'm cool with trying it. You got to test those waters though, right? You got to give it to the back a couple times, see, all right, is that guy strafing? Is he standing up? Is he holding his ground on the edge to give it to the back? How are they going to approach that? And I'm sure there's some of that on film at some point or another. But
right. And Clayton, would you want to see more of like a legit end around where, there's probably a fake dive to the back and then, a receiver looping back, or would you like to see more of a jet sweep, kind of against that KC?
Yeah, for me, you're kind of splitting hairs when you're talking about the difference between the two. They both serve a purpose. The goal is to watch tape, watch that last 4-game saturation and go, okay, when other teams have used jet motion, when they've used end arounds, when they've used all this chicanery against this defense, what are the backers doing? Because the goal is to get the backers displaced and give to the running back, right? Mm-hmm. But if the backers stay at home, give it to the end around or the jet. Now, you don't read that on the fly, obviously, but you're studying the tape. That decision is predetermined before the snap, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like a read option where you're just going to decide on the fly. Right. But it all comes down to how Kansas City's approached that, right? So, for me, it's more about let's see if we can get those linebackers displaced a touch, right? I'm eager to see, man, as much as this is a test for the defense, obviously, because Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce and now Rashee Rice, who's having a great year, grading out in the 80s on PFF. And you heard Baldy talking about him. As much as they can put up points on the offensive side of the ball, that's a top 3 defense too. We get to see what this offense is made of here in Green Bay this week. It's going to be a great test there. So I think that would be a good segue into this video we're going to play. This is from Packers Daily. And really, it's just talking about playing at Lambeau and the Chiefs coming into town. It's about 2 minutes long. It's got Wayne Larrivee talking on here, which you guys know is just an absolute national gem. Him and Larry McCarron they're unbelievable. We are so blessed. Me and Tim have talked about it ad nauseum. So blessed to have those two guys as the radio broadcast team for the Green Bay Packers. You can find this video for free on Packers.com, on their YouTube channel, and on Twitter. Make sure you go give it a like, share it, all that good stuff. Let's show support for them. But here is the little mini preview for the Packers-Chiefs.
I love playing night games in Lambeau. I feel like I'm in high school again, just making plays, especially when it's cold. I feel like I'm running faster than everybody else.
Keisean Nixon is off to the races. It's Secretariat of the Belmont. Down the stretch they come. No one will catch him. It is a touchdown. It is a 104-yard touchdown for Keisean Nixon.
Keisean Nixon is your league leader in kick return yards, and it isn't even close. He's more than 200 yards ahead of the competition. And his 27-yard average is a full 5 yards ahead of the runner-up.
Here comes Nixon, cutting left through the hash marks. Nixon on his feet, breaks tackle, accelerates to the 50.
That's the way to start a half.
And come Sunday night in Lambeau Field, the Packers will need every advantage they can get against the defending world champion Chiefs and their 2-time MVP quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. Since becoming the Chiefs starter in 2018, Mahomes leads the league in passing yards and touchdowns, tossing more than 200 scores during his tenure. And his top target, Travis Kelce, is a big reason why. The 4-time All-Pro has accounted for about 25% of those touchdown throws, 46 to be exact. But there's a new guy on the scene in second-round receiver Rashee Rice. Number 4 is coming off his first career 100-yard game and has quickly cemented himself as one of Mahomes' most trusted targets. Meanwhile, for the Packers' top 10 scoring defense, Sunday night's clash will be a prime opportunity.
They're the defending champs, so we're kind of going to be chomping at the bit to see where we are. So it should be an exciting one.
They're the top dog in the league right now. Excited for them to come to Lambeau and us play our style of ball and get a dub.
Yo, good stuff. Did you guys hear what Wayne Larrivee said? He said a top 10 scoring defense. Did you hear that, Tim?
Oh, what are the Barry haters going to say now?
Oh, my God. Oh, they're. I'm telling you right now, man.
Oh, I already know. I saw what you were dealing with earlier.
There are so many Packer fans that are hoping and praying that Kansas City just drops a 50 burger on Joe Barry. And it's sad. It's
right. Sad. Those aren't Packer fans. They can call themselves that, but that's not. I'm sorry. I will speak up on that. That's not how you fan, man. You don't wish ill on your own team.
No, and you could just tell they're more interested in being right than their team being good. I don't understand and I've been on the record over and over and over saying, look, I'm not a huge Joe Barry fan. I've been stamped with it because I'm pointing out, hey, guys, you've heard me. I've said it all year long. Now you've got people like Brian Bulaga stepping up and saying, you got all these other podcast hosts that are stepping up and saying, not that they're copying off me. They're not copying anything off of me. This show is like this compared to the other great podcasters that we have across Packers fandom. It's just all of a sudden people are looking up and going, I'll be damned. It's a pretty good defense. Yeah, we've been saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's blinded by the drunken rage of people screaming, this is Joe Barry's fault. And, of course, what Tim's referring to, I put a tweet out earlier of a cat smacking another cat on the head. And this cat I put Packer fans. And the other cat I put Joe Barry in the top 10 defense we begged for. Right? And this cat's just wearing them out like, you're the problem, you're the problem. I'm going, geez, oh, Pete. Without Jaire Alexander, without Rudy Ford, without Rashawn Gary early in the year, right? Mm-hmm. Without Quay Walker for a significant amount of time, without Devondre Campbell for a significant amount of time. He just goes out there, puts a 7th rounder on the boundary and goes, hey, go cover their number 1. Oh, yep, look, we got it done. I'm just afraid that if Jaire comes back, Savage comes back, those two guys are overly aggressive like we've seen all over the tape last year, and they don't play schematically sound, and they want to bite on that underneath, and all of a sudden the defense goes back to being inconsistent with the tackling's been inconsistent the entire time, but with the coverage, that's the part that kind of worries me. So it's going to be interesting, though. Anything stick out to you there, Tim, with that video, man?
It's the way Keisean runs.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do great even in the elements. He keeps his hips low. He's so good in stride, weaving in traffic. I just love watching him run with a football. It's almost a shame sometimes that he's a defender, like I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's like, you got to wonder, he could probably be pretty explosive on offense, in a different world, but certainly running that ball back for our special teams, whether it's punts or kicks, it's just clutch, or him after a pick on defense, for a return. So, yeah, man, Keisean Nixon is a dude, and starting to prove himself, week by week in the slot. See him make a few plays. The PFF grade isn't there yet, but the more he plays, hopefully, the more he improves, and we'll see how long he sticks around. We haven't talked much about him beyond this season. I believe he's on a 1-year deal. Is that true?
You're talking about Keisean, right?
Yeah, Keisean.
And the way they did it with Keisean, too, it was something like a $6 million deal, I believe, and they spread it out over 4 avoidable years. So
wow,
he's against the cap this year, kind of a minimum rate, but over the next 4 years, it's like 1.3 million or maybe 700K, whatever it is. It's spread out over some voidable years. So that's how they fit him onto the roster. And he's still leading the league in kick returns, right, Emilio? I mean, it's something that he's still effective. There's no doubt.
So if you're reading through Tim's tea leaves there, what he's saying is he wants Keisean Nixon as our backup running back, and he wants Keisean to get the ball all the time on offense. But no, honestly, you really could see something like that. Matt could be like, hey, who else do we have left? AJ, who is, Wilson's not back. Hey, Keisean, it's game time, man. We've already done it before. How long ago was that when we ran the reverse with him? I forgot what game it happened in.
It was like week 2 or 3, I believe.
Oh, it's outside the 4-game saturation. You think Matt comes back and just does
about time to, all right.
Emilio, be quiet. La 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 la.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Don't put that out there.
What's wrong with you, man?
We want him to be caught off guard. That's a brilliant idea.
Jordan Love's been trying to mask this all day.
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
Go ahead, Emilio. Be professional. What is your problem, Emilio? Be professional.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Defense. I love that we're scoring defense there. And I did, like you said, I hope that continues if Ja and Savage comes back and they're not, they better be playing that schematically sound defense or else could cost us.
Yeah, definitely. Carson in the chat said, listen, I'm not a Joe Barry fan, but I will never root against our defense. That's crazy to me. It's wild out there in them Twitter streets, my friend.
Right, and then it's like they're saying they're not rooting against the team. There's only 3 phases. You're rooting against one of them. I mean, that's a third of the team that you just don't care for. Then you probably don't like the special teams if you hate Joe Barry.
Yeah, and listen, we're due for a bad game on defense. My whole stance is if he come out and they lay an egg against the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions led by Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce, please don't go jump off the ledge, scream and fire Joe Barry again like that. This, you're due. You're kind of hitting that peak right now, right? And the league is so cyclical. It's why one year defenses are great. The next year they take a step back because offenses catch on. You got a year of tape on them. They know how to attack them now. That happens in 4-game spurts as well, or what we used to say, breaking down the season into quarters before they added in this odd game. But yeah, it's just something I don't get it, man. Omer in the chat says Jaire lets his ego get away. He does that. I think there is a little bit of that, but without us being in his head, Omer, we can't say that for sure, right? So I just think he trusts himself. He trusts his ability. He feels, like, okay, I've earned the right to jump these routes and know what I'm seeing on tape and know what I'm seeing in front of me. And it's just came back to bite him a couple of times, especially last year when Terry McLaurin absolutely torched him in that Washington game. There's no doubt about that. Let's see here as we get ready to wrap up. We're at the 52-minute mark. Cheesehead Murph says, I think Love still has the benefit of the doubt that they don't believe he will keep it and run on that RPR. I agree with that, Murph. I don't think anybody's going into the game going, watch him. He can burn us, because he loves to sit in that pocket and throw the ball, right? He's not really stamped as a scrambler right now. Break it out again, man. Break out that RPR. Run a little read option. I'd be totally cool with it.
We've seen a lot of those open too, right? When he is handing it off, you're like, oh man, if he would have kept that, he'd have been gone.
Right.
And it's like, I feel you, Murph. I think it might be time to pull that out. And, even like Emilio said, let's go back, beyond the four-game saturation and look at what we did well, right, buddy? I'm not saying which games.
Yeah, right.
But, we're not going to say what games are at all. But, certainly we have the ability to do things like that and find success. And you have to get crafty if the weather's going to be a factor at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's either going to affect us or it's not, right? Let's be honest. And if it is affecting us, then what do you do to adjust? But yeah, man, I think that'll be exciting to see Jay Money do a little bit with his legs too.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, Tim, we've said it before. They need to be able to go back into their bank and say, hey, when we need something, what was that one play that we did against the Saints? What was that one play we did against the Bears? They need those things. We've been building it throughout the year. But a couple of losses, maybe we have one or two in there that they can pull from. Yeah. But it's good that they're getting to this point and that they're growing and having this ability, and especially like you said, in a bad weather game that could come in handy. They could draw right up in the snow and just say, this is what we're running, kick the dirt, kick it and go.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. Carson in the chat says, as football nerdy as it sounds, you're in the right place. You want to nerd out on football, my friend. I'm super excited to watch this O-line against the Chiefs D line. Yeah, I want to see how they handle Chris Jones. If we come out this weekend, we come out of this game somehow, some way, and Sean Ryan did get a significant amount of snaps, right? And here's what's crazy. Brian Bulaga on Wildy and Tausch earlier today he was adamant about it, saying Sean Ryan's the guy to go to. He said obviously they're not playing him because of the inconsistency he's showing in practice, right? And he said, and I could go ask Coach Butkus, hey, why aren't you starting him? He said, but I like to try to figure things out on my own and not really bother the coaching staff asking those type of questions. Obviously, he's got an inside into the building constantly. But he's talking about Sean Ryan being able to handle the hands game, right, when it comes to playing offensive line and pass blocking. And he's just like, to me, he looks better, or at least equivalent to John Runyon Jr. Why not put him in there and see if it gets better, right? So I'm eager to see whoever is in at right guard, if they do put Chris Jones, like we said, at that 4-eye tech and try to sing him up on that right guard, how are they going to handle it? If you were to ask me, which one would you want blocking Chris Jones at right guard, Sean Ryan or John Runyon Jr.? My personal opinion, based off of a huge sample size, not recently, he's been cheeks here recently, right? But off of the distant past, John Runyon's been one of the better pass blocking guards in the game, going back to last year. Now this year, something has happened, man. Something's happened and his game's dropped off. So, like I said, if it's kind of like the other thing too, starting Savage and some of these guys, if they struggle early, don't be afraid to go back, right? So if you go out there with John Runyon and he struggles in the first couple series, hey, try Sean Ryan at it. They're kind of doing that at left tackle too, which is wild. Yeah. Bulaga hit on that as well. And he kind of talked about how, it's crazy because they'll play Rasheed Walker, and if he's in there as a starter and plays the whole game, he plays bad. And the second they put the backup in, the backup will play better. And Yash, right? And then the second that Yash is kind of becoming the consistent starter. His play declines. They put the backup in, which at this time would be Rasheed Walker. Bang, now all of a sudden he's playing great again. It's like if you split the amount of snaps they get, it's almost like they're raising each other's level. But I don't know. Tim, does that trigger anything with you, man, there with the offensive line talk?
Yeah, like what you just said there, that sounds like a good strategy to develop guys, right?
Yeah.
You know, you kind of pick each other up as you go throughout a year, and then, you know, eventually you find your guy, right? You find who your consistent performer is, you know. So I agree with that approach. I would love to see Sean Ryan get more snaps. I really do. And you know what? This might be the game. I feel like I've said that for like 3 weeks now, but this might be the game, you know, because if JRJ is getting his lunch handed to him, I gotta think we're going to be impatient enough seeing that and make a change. And, you know, we'll see the great ones respond. You know, if Sean Ryan is, you know, elite level talent waiting to happen, then we're going to see flashes of that when he's thrown into the fire. And nothing like having to deal with Chris Jones, right? So I'm excited. I'm excited too. That's you know, it's a great point, Carson, because, you know, there's no reason to feel nerdy at all because you're in good company. We're all thinking the same thing over here. Can't wait to see some of these matchups. Really, it's not just the right side. It's just how is our line going to perform against this Super Bowl caliber defense that we are facing on Sunday. So,
yeah,
you know, it'll be a great game to watch. Sunday Night Football under the lights, baby. Hopefully we get some of that snow.
Emilio, you won't have to sit on a hard stool, will you, to watch that one? Right?
No, that's exciting. I got the couch. I'll be able to kick the feet up.
I'm still so mad I deleted that quote, bro. It was a money quote.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul Brettel here with an article he tweeted out. He says, Sean Ryan is continuing to earn himself opportunities on Sundays, but from the sounds of it, the rotation taking place at right guard is going to continue. Quote, he's really been studying mentally and physically. He's been doing a good job. More from Coach Buck is here. Make sure you guys go check out that article. That is over at packerswire.usatoday.com. Paul Brettel is the best at what he does, and he should be on the show tomorrow. I got to reach out to him, make sure he doesn't have anything planned with the family, but hopefully we'll have him on for a few minutes tomorrow night so he can set us straight and give us a little bit of credibility instead of us in here just playing the nonsense and all the silly stuff that we always do, man. I know we've been accused of that at times.
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
So parting.
How many days since our last nonsense, Clayton?
God almighty.
0 days.
30 seconds.
Yeah, wipe off the whiteboard each day. We try to get past one.
We got to get that Jim and Dwight when Dwight took over as a manager. Remember that?
Yes.
They were like teamed up. He was his assistant to the assistant.
Assistant two.
Assistant two. Such a good show, man. If you guys have never watched The Office, I don't know. I guess you've been living under a rock, but man, it's such a good show, dude. So good. Let's see here. Sushi Bagel in the chat says, win or lose, I hope the Pack at least keeps it close to show the world we deserve the respect and to be in the playoff picture. I think that is a very, very fair assessment, Sushi Bagel. That's kind of how I'm looking at it too. And you got kind of two different spectrums, right? You got some fans, like I was saying, they're just hoping Joe Barry's defense falls flat on his face so they can go, ha, I told you guys, he's a bad DC. And you got others that are like, we're Super Bowl bound. Probably somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? Yep. So it all comes down to, can you get hot, though they're going into the playoffs. But as we get ready to wrap up, Emilio, what you got, man? Parting thoughts, buddy? Anything on your mind?
I'm actually a little excited that it is a Sunday night game because, you know, especially it being at home, they'll do like a little lead up to. I'm kind of excited to see what they got planned out for the, you know, the hour clips ahead of the game. See what they do, a little deep dive in. Maybe it's a J Love deep dive, who knows? But you know, it'll be cool. If we get the weather we want, hey, that's fine. If it's cold, hey, that's fine too. We'll take that. You know, they play in it, but you know, this team is getting there. And I think that if we could just support them, I know we do, but if we could just have Packers fans support them and all three phases, I think that, you know, because they know what's going on. They know what whispers are going on Twitter and all that. So it's not like, you know, they know that we haven't been, or that people have been on them about their performance. So the fact that they've been showing up and showing out, we just need to keep it going. And if we do lose to I almost called them KFC. if we do lose to Kansas City, then I really don't care. It's still an AFC opponent, and we can still go 5-1 in the last 6. And I said if we can go 4-2, we'll be all right. So I'm good with it.
They are KFC, right, Clayton? They about to be some Kentucky Fried Chiefs coming up here.
There it is.
I like that,
right?
So are you guys big KFC guys?
No, not
their
really.
Biscuits are.
I mean, yeah, I love KFC, especially the biscuits. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're in the bowls. Tim.
You call me anything you want, but don't call me that.
Emilio said, I like biscuits.
Dude, the biscuits are fire. I'll be honest. Yeah, they are.
Evidently,
the KFC bowls are awesome. My wife actually makes a homemade version of the KFC bowl, which is fire. So, yeah, no, it's cool. A little KFC once in a while is good, right? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Why are you something different, Clayton? Or are you gonna?
No. I mean, I think all fast food chicken tastes the same. To be honest with you, y'all want some real Kentucky Fried Chicken? Let me take you home. Let me get Mandy down here in the kitchen to cook y'all some of Nanny's fried chicken. Her great aunt kind of helped raise her, bro. Nanny, first time I met her, man, we went up to a little place called Collier's Creek, Kentucky, and it's a holler. It's just a holler, right? She's like, I want you to meet my Nan. I'm going, who the hell's Nan? Like, is it your grandma who ended up being her great aunt that pretty much helped raise her? We go in there, and she fried us up some chicken, some homemade fried chicken, bro. And we have fried apples, and we have fried everything. We had homemade biscuits. We had, man, I'm telling you, dude, I sat down and had a conversation with her. I fell in love with her, dude. She's just the most amazing person. She passed away, obviously, a few years ago, but that's some fried chicken. I go to KFC. I'm like, this is fast food. Y'all ain't had Nanny's fries. I tell the lady in the drive-thru, I'm like, hey, I want 2 of them wraps, but this ain't fried chicken. You need to know this. Now,
that's like I got a buddy who's from New Orleans, and he always said Popeyes is not Louisiana food.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's the other thing too. Like, what I was going to mention, they've got something called a double down, right? And I've never had one, but this local establishment here, the local franchise in town here in out in Gray, Tennessee, they said they should have it around somewhere between March and May. It is a deep fried chicken breast, boneless chicken breast with bacon and cheese, and then another deep fried chicken breast. So the chicken breast is the bread of the sandwich, and it's filled with bacon and cheese. I could feel my arteries clogging up. I'm like, boy, y'all need to call me when you start making that thing again. Put me on speed dial.
Sounds like a decent lunch right there.
No, it does not. It sounds like
Emilio, you're a growing boy. Yeah, you can eat. You can still eat that.
Be in the Porta John all day on the job.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is off the rails. Let's get out of here. Tim, what do you got? Parting thoughts, buddy?
Oh man, I'm just excited. Sunday Night Football. Shout out to my buddy Tony. He's going to be at the game. They got tickets.
Nice.
He's going with a couple of Swifties, but he'll still have a blast. And
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
I tell you what, man, we get this dub. It's going to be great. If anything, I'm hoping our guys keep their heads squared on straight if we beat the Kansas City Chiefs here on Sunday Night Football, and we don't get too cocky going into our next matchup. But I think it's going to happen. We're going to get a dub. I said that before the Lions game, and I'm saying it right now. Just win, baby. We're going to keep doing it. These guys are playing their best football right now. We got guys coming back from injury. There's a lot to be excited about. We are, we went from saying, hey, we're not out of it yet to, my belief is we are right in it. And I said this going into the season, the NFC was going to be wide open except for a few of those teams that we knew, they are who we thought they are. We know those guys, and we see Philly and we see San Francisco. We see these teams, right?
There's Green Bay, who we thought they were.
There's Green Bay right there in the hunt, right? We're in the hunt. We're about to be in the show, boys. I believe it's going to happen. So, I will be eternally optimistic when it comes to my Packers, So go Pack, go beat the Chiefs, take care of home, protect 1265, Good Morning Lambeau tomorrow. Hit the like button. Emilio, you're the man. Clayton, you're the man. That's all I got.
I know this. If Taylor Swift does show up to the game, this is going to be our response.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
We don't care.
We don't care. All right, we're out of here. Emilio, thank you for hopping on, man. This was a pleasant surprise,
Yeah,
bro. You've been able
no
to jump
worries,
on
man.
with us for sure. And Tim, as always, appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate
Everybody
you,
in the chat, thank you guys so much for making the show. You guys are awesome. I want to give a special thanks to Josh Martin for the super chat, buddy. Really appreciate you supporting the stream. Always in here. We just got a crowd that's just you guys are so loyal, and we can't thank you enough. So that being said, the plan is to go live tomorrow morning for Good Morning Lambeau. Should be normal time, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. I'll let you guys know if something changes. That should be the plan, though. I know this, man. Like you said, if we do somehow, some way come away with a dub against the defending Super Bowl champions at Lambeau Field Sunday night, that post-game show, it's going to be fun regardless. But if we get a dub, it's going to be a party, boys. I'm just telling you. It's going to be awesome. So we're out of here.
Late Monday morning.
Oh, yeah, dude. No doubt. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll see you in the morning. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go back.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense. Come to tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man to his inside. Pull back and tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one shows. Go right by him and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play ending